All right, guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness. And wait a minute. It was a close one. Okay. Can you imagine if I filmed the whole fucking thing like that? Alright guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness and welcome to my review of Skinamarink. This one came out in 2023. It is starring Lucas Paul and Dally Rose Tetrault. Apologies if I mispronounced that. And was directed by Kyle Edward Ball. So, man, this is kind of the belle of the ball. We usually don't tackle a super new release like this. It is something I do want to do more. This is the belle of the ball right now. Everyone's talking about this movie for better or for worse. There are people who are loving it. There are people who are hating it. And all I've been hearing as far as horror is concerned, not all I've been hearing, but a lot of what I've been hearing is all about this fucking movie. It's all about Skinamarink, this little $15,000 budget horror film, which I can personally relate to. So on that level, I gotta congratulate Kyle Edward Ball, man. I mean, this is a guy who started out on YouTube doing short films called Bite-Sized Nightmares, and he fucking did it, man. He released a movie. The movie is a huge success financially. Despite however I may feel about it, I can't act like I don't want to congratulate this dude. Because I've been there. I've tried to do it. I did not succeed. But I know how fucking hard that is. And goddamn, dude, he did it. So 100% congratulations. However, he did make a movie. And I hesitate to call myself a movie critic. I mean, technically, I guess I am. But I'm just a guy who likes to talk about fucking horror films, and I have a pretty good amount of education in the field. So call me whatever you want, movie critic, horror fan, whatever. I'm just here to talk about good, bad, and middle of the road horror. And I think at the end of the day, Skinamarink is going to fall under very middle of the road. I'm not going to sit here and act like I just fucking hated this movie. There are aspects of this that I really enjoy and really admire. I've always said it. I love when filmmakers take risks and do something different. So often we hear people say, oh, we want something different. Oh, horror's the same old, which is bullshit altogether in the first place, but you know what I mean. We hear these complaints all the time, and then we get something like this that is, for better or worse, very fucking unique, and then people just shit all over it. Now, do I understand why people are not liking this movie at all? Yeah, I really do. If you hate this movie, I'm not gonna blame you for hating this movie. It is not for everyone at all. I have already seen people calling this movie pretentious and too full of its own shit and yada 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 and stuff like that. And I kind of view this a little more as an art piece than a traditional horror film, which I think that's the intention. Obviously this was not made with the intention of a traditional film at all. I'm not going to spoil this because there is obviously some pretty spoiler heavy things that I can get into. I'm not going to do that. For the style of the movie, we don't see anybody's face. We never see a single face. Dialogue. I've been hearing people say there's little to no dialogue. I wouldn't go that far. It's not overly frequent, but we get a fair, decent amount. Nowhere near what people are saying, but dialogue is still, not as prevalent as in a traditional film. The shots, obviously I did that little parody intro, but if you go back and you look at that shot, the whole hour and 40-minute runtime of this movie is comprised of shots like that. And there are some sequences where it is from the point of view of a child, But for the most part, a lot of it is just still images, like you saw in the beginning of this this review, um, with a very, 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 very heavily grainy VHS esque, old VHS tape esque quality to it. So obviously with that, the sound is going to be pretty fucking bad. The visual quality is going to be pretty fucking bad. We get a lot of old cartoons playing throughout the movie, which kind of gives an ambiance, a very eerie, creepy ambiance with all these old, Looney Tunes-esque songs being played, and it's all very distorted and creepy, and that's a bulk of the runtime. Now, people are obviously exaggerating. It is the internet. That is not all this movie has. There is obviously, there is a fish at the end of this hook. There are pretty noteworthy scares in the film. I could name them, I could count them on one hand and maybe even lop off a couple fingers. But there is substance here. It's not just a bunch of, as the internet is calling it, pretentious shots and stuff like that. There are moments, obviously we alluded to big scares. There are moments in certain shots. This is a very dark film too. Not tone, well, it's a pretty dark film tone-wise, but there are, visually it's a very darkly lit movie. Obviously with the bad film quality, and there are certain shots where it's very hard to see what is going on. But because of that visual quality, if you have a vivid imagination like I do, you can maybe start to think you see something in some of the shots, and I'm pretty positive that was very, very, very much intentional on the part of Kyle Edward Ball. I would not even doubt for a second that maybe there was some little tampering here and there, maybe with some shots. I don't know, just speculation. But, there is stuff to see in the film. It's just, you are going after a very, very niche audience here, and there are a finite amount of people who are going to actually really praise this movie as genius or something like that. I'm personally not one of those people. There are things in the movie, like I said, that I do admire very much, but overall, I'm not gonna say this is a masterpiece or anything like that. I think the biggest fault of this movie is the runtime. Honestly, I think the runtime is what really, really bogs down this movie. I think if you condensed this down to a 30-minute short, I think I would have a lot better things to say about it, for sure. Now, I say that I'm not someone who likes to shit on someone's vision. If this guy said, I believe I heard that they actually whittled 10 minutes off of the runtime, but yeah, man, I just, if it's his vision, it's his vision. All I'm gonna say is that I think whittling down this time would have greatly, greatly benefited this. If you would have even had this be like an hour or 45 minutes, I think you would have had a much more tight, well-paced movie. Because, yeah, there are some pretty noteworthy scares, and yeah, there is some interesting things to look at, for sure. But at the end of the day, it is an hour and 40 minutes of mostly shots. And it's just, it becomes, I'm not gonna lie, man, I watched this after a 10-hour work shift, and there was a moment I started to get a little drowsy. I'm not gonna fucking lie, I never full on fell asleep, mostly because there was a child screaming that totally fucking stunned me and woke me up. I never fell into a total sleep, but if someone says, hey, I fell asleep watching this, it fucking wouldn't surprise me at all. I even caught myself being pretty tempted to fast forward and see what the fuck this is getting to, because it's like, come on, give me something. And in that light, it's a very frustrating film. And I hate saying that, dude. I try to support independent film and the little engine that could and all that. I'm all for that, but this was a reach for me. I'm not gonna say avoid it. I would pretty well encourage you to watch it and see what you think about it. Because there are people who are loving this, there are people who are hating this. I'm in the middle, maybe a little bit towards hating it, but not, I don't love this movie or anything like that. It's just, it's a lot to ask of my attention span. It is a lot to ask of my time. That being said, I think the good aspects of this movie are there. I would fucking love to see. Now, I will note this too. I did check out Kyle Edward Ball's YouTube channel before watching this, and those shorts, man, that's what I'm talking about. It's the same sort of style as this. Definitely not as much production value, obviously, but especially that first one. I encourage everyone to go back and check out that first Bite-Sized Nightmare short film that he did. That's a good amount of tension. It's very bare bones, very basic. And I'm not saying this movie should have been 3 minutes. That's not what I'm saying. But this guy has it. I don't doubt that for a second. I really don't. And I wouldn't even doubt that if he had a bigger budget, maybe there would have been a little more pizzazz to this movie. I really want to see this dude get $1 million budget or a $5 million budget, and I want to see what he does. I am in no way saying this guy should stop. I've been seeing people say that shit too. Oh, this guy should stop making movies. If you're saying that, go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself, because you're the type of person that just shits on people's dreams, and more than likely you're not going out of your way to pursue your own, and you're bitter, so you're just shitting on people. This guy made it. Do I love his film? No, I really don't. That's me being honest. But am I gonna sit here and say, oh, Kyle Edward Ball should stop making movies? No. If you're saying that, fucking just fuck off. Anyways, I want to see what this dude does with a bigger budget and maybe, more of a traditional style film, but aspects of this. Maybe something in the found footage genre. I think this dude could do something really, really special. And I hope this dude has a successful career to bounce off of this, because there are glimmers of a lot of potential. It's just this movie is bogged down by a very lengthy runtime and not a whole lot of substance. That's just my own opinion. Anyways, guys, pretty quick review here, man. I just wanted to give some general thoughts. I guess you could maybe file this under spoiler free if you wanted to, but really there's not a lot. I mean, there's stuff to spoil, obviously. But hey, it is what it is, right? Next time on Days of Darkness, guys, we are going to be looking at the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. Very curious to see what I think. It's been a very long time since I've seen this one, and I'm curious to see what I think. I would ask that you guys come along and join me on that ride. We've been running through the Texas Chainsaw series pretty quickly, and I'm pretty fucking proud of that too, especially how lengthy some of my series reviews have been. But yeah, guys, until then, thank you as always for stopping by, supporting this channel, and supporting this dream. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and for the love of all things gory, keep watching horror. Alright, guys, stick around. What? Have a good day.